Welcome to ABC Interactive English. Hello, everyone. I'm Mike.
And I'm Kiki.
And today we are going to begin a 2-day article about something very interesting. It's all there in our title. We have a very good question to get us thinking about something kind of strange. Right, what's the title we have here? I'm still trying to think about this.
Yes. Can animals predict the weather?
Right. Can animals predict the weather or tell us what the weather will be in the future, later today or tomorrow or this week? My first question is, can humans predict the weather?
I definitely think so.
Okay, I mean, we see the weather people on the news and they're usually kind of right, but not always. And we have all sorts of science and computers and satellites.
But what about the human body?
Ooh, do you think you can feel it in your bones? Some people say, I feel the rain coming because my back hurts or my elbow aches or something. Do you have that magic ability?
Well, I definitely do because I have a lot of injuries, right, from my racing.
Okay.
So when it does start to get kind of wet, humid, you know, it starts to ache here and there, and then I know it's probably gonna rain later.
Interesting. So you can actually feel it in your body. Well, maybe animals can do the same thing, but what we'll learn in our article is animals also can behave in different strange ways. You don't behave in a different way when it's gonna rain. You just feel it in your bones.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll get angry.
Get a little crazy because it's gonna snow tomorrow. Anyway, let's find out more about this very interesting topic with a great question as a title. Can animals predict the weather? I don't know. Animals use their senses to help them survive different kinds of weather. Some birds and butterflies fly south for the winter. They can see the decrease in daylight and feel the temperature drop.
All right, so today we are doing part 1 of our article, Can Animals Predict the Weather? And I feel like I've definitely seen animals behave differently.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, I have a cat and my cat behaves in a strange way every day. It's a cat. Cats are weird. But have I noticed it behaving differently? No, I don't think I have. I mean, it doesn't like thunder and lightning. It might get scared, but it never tells me 6 hours before the thunder and lightning. So no, I don't know about that. But maybe I just have the wrong animal, right? Because there's many kinds of animals. So let's find out. It says animals use their senses to help them survive different kinds of weather. Well, that's actually a really good point. They use their senses. Now, of course, we have senses. A lot of people say we have 5 senses, but some scientists would say, well, it's actually more than that. But the 5 most common, easy ones to identify would be your sense of sight, your sense of hearing, your sense of smell, your sense of taste when you taste things, and your sense of touch, right? So we use our senses to understand the world, to know what's going on. When you wake up, your eyes tell you it's daytime. When you hear things, your ears can tell you something dangerous is nearby. These are our senses. And of course, with animals, it's very true. Their senses help them survive. They can't go home when there's a typhoon. They have to find a safe place to go. So if they know the typhoon will come soon, that will give them a better chance to survive or to live through something dangerous like a typhoon.
So animals must have even more unique senses than humans.
And they also sometimes say they use their senses to predict earthquakes.
Oh, yeah.
Now, earthquakes and weather are different, but they could both be very dangerous. And if your senses can keep you safe, well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Tina. 我们来看一下刚刚课文里提到的单字 sense 名词感知 Dogs have a good sense of smell. 狗的嗅觉很灵敏。接着我们回到课文当中。
Let's continue. Some birds and butterflies fly south for the winter.
That's true, they do.
Yeah, so usually we know that birds will fly south.
Right.
It'll get cold, so they want to get somewhere where it's warmer. But I didn't know that about butterflies.
Yes, the monarch butterfly, I believe, can go from like Mexico up to northern America or southern Canada. They travel a long way. And yes, they do this. Of course, they don't have a calendar. They can't say, oh, it's September, it's October, time to go south. They just know this. And of course, their senses are a big deal. So we know what birds are. Tell us about the lovely butterfly.
So a butterfly is, of course, a winged insect. But, of course, it doesn't start off as a butterfly. It starts off as a caterpillar. And the caterpillar will spend its days eating leaves to grow. And then they will build a cocoon and go through something called metamorphosis. And they will spend days in this cocoon and then come out as a beautiful butterfly.
Isn't that nice? I think Taiwan has a lot of different types of butterflies.
Yes. In fact, there's even a type of butterfly that migrates from the south of Taiwan to the north at a certain point of the year as well. So that has something to do with their senses as well.
Very interesting. And of course, butterflies are very similar to another insect you guys might know, the moth, M-O-T-H. That's the one that might fly around lights at nighttime, whereas butterflies do most of their action in the day.
Well, Mike, do you know how to tell the difference between a moth and a butterfly?
Butterflies are pretty and moths aren't.
Well, there's another way to tell.
Yes.
Which is butterflies, their wings
That's true.
go up like this.
They fold in half, kind of like praying hands.
Yes.
Yeah.
But moths, their wings will go like that.
That is very true. They're kind of flat when they
yeah.
land on something. I like butterflies, but I don't like moths very much. Anyways, let's get back to our article. It says they, butterflies, moths, possibly, and birds, they can see the decrease in daylight and feel the temperature drop. Those are two signals or things they can see or feel with their senses. They can see the decrease in daylight. The days get shorter as the winter gets closer, right? The sun will rise and set at an earlier and a later time. And of course, they can feel the temperature drop. Humans can do this too, right? We know that in July and August, it will be hotter than it is in October or November. When we talk about decrease, this is the noun form. We're talking about something going from a higher number or a higher position to a lower position. This is a word we can use both as a noun and as a verb. It basically means the same thing. A decrease is a movement from big to small or high to low. Or if it decreases, it is the action of going from high to low or from big to small. The only difference is when you say it as a noun, you put the stress on the beginning. It's decrease, a decrease, or it will decrease. That would be the verb.
我们来看一下刚刚课文里提到的单字 butterfly, butterfly 名词蝴蝶 The butterfly landed on the flower 蝴蝶停在一朵花上 Decrease, decrease 名词下降减低 There was a decrease in the number of visitors 来访人数减少了接着我们回到课文当中
All right, so we are back, and we're going to take a quick break. We already know a little bit about butterflies and birds and how they use their senses to predict the weather, or at least the seasons, and we're going to find out about some other interesting animals in a second. Some animals can even detect when danger and bad weather are in the air. When it comes to rain, cows and sheep have a sure sign. Before it rains, the air becomes humid. Cows and sheep can feel that. So cows lie down in the field, and sheep gather in a close group. All right, we are back learning about how animals, or at least some of them, may be able to predict the weather. When we say predict, we're talking about kind of guess or know with a pretty good guess, using information, you're predicting what will happen in the future. You're telling people what will happen in the future. Sometimes people will go to a fortune teller who could, read your hand or use numbers to predict your future. And of course, yes, when we watch the weather on the news shows, they will predict the weather for tomorrow and, next weekend. And usually they're fairly right. They're fairly true about these things. But yeah, they have science and computers and all sorts of stuff. But animals can still do it.
Yeah, that's right. So let's get back to our article.
Yeah.
Some animals can even detect when danger and bad weather are in the air.
Wow.
So they kind of get a feeling that something's about to happen.
Yeah.
And that's what in the air means. In the air is getting that feeling that something bad might start to happen. You've got this feeling going on. It doesn't feel so great.
Right.
Right? Something is in the air.
Yeah, absolutely. It could actually be in the air, like smoke is in the air. But you're right, you could walk into a room and there are two people there and you have this feeling like they were fighting or something. It's just in the air. It's not something you can smell. It's more of a feeling.
Something's about to happen or something has happened.
Okay.
There's tension between people.
Exactly. Or maybe love is growing. Ooh, there's romance in the air on Valentine's Day. Of course, it's not something you can see or smell like smoke. It's just the atmosphere, the feeling of where you are. Back to the article, it says, when it comes to rain, cows and sheep have a sure sign. Okay, this was the only one that I thought of having to do with cows. But when it comes to rain, so if you're wondering about rain, look to your cow and your sheep friends. They have a sure sign. There is something that cows and sheep do that will clearly show you if it's going to rain. It's true.
我们来看一下刚刚课文里提到的文法。In the air, 空气中，指的是空气中弥漫着某种氛围，比如危险、欢乐或爱意等等。我们来看看这个例句 ：Danger is in the air when the storm is coming。当风暴来临时，空气中弥漫着危险的气氛。下一个文法 ，When it comes to 加名词，说到提及什么，这是一个固定用法。我们来看看这个例句 ：When it comes to cooking。My mom is an expert. 说到烹饪，我妈妈是个专家。Expert 指的是专家。接着我们回到课文当中。
And back to our article. What does it say? How do we know? How can the cows and sheep tell us that it's time to find our umbrella? It says, before it rains, the air becomes humid. Okay, I think we've all felt this, right? Often in Taiwan, in the early afternoon, it will rain, right, for an hour or so. And about an hour maybe before that, before the rain starts, the air gets thicker and wetter. That's the feeling of humid air. Okay, humid would be the adjective humidity. That's that wet, heavy, often hot or warm air that you feel in Taiwan in the summertime. And so the air becomes humid before the rain starts. Cows and sheep can feel that, but humans can too. So what do?
Well, so cows lie down in the field and sheep gather in a close group.
Oh, okay.
So once you see your cows starting to get down and lie down in the field, you know something, it's probably going to rain later.
Yeah.
And then sheep, they'll get together, they'll come close together.
Okay, to give each other some protection.
Yeah. Okay, so what is a field? We don't often see fields in the cities.
No, true.
We will see fields in the countryside. And basically a field is an open piece of land where usually it's healthy land where you can grow things.
Yeah.
So you'll see a lot of vegetation, you see grass, you can grow crops, and that's where these animals or like cows and sheep they'll live.
That's exactly right. Yeah, often when we go by a farm, all of that land that they grow things on, that's a wheat field, that's a barley field, all those things. And maybe in the city, You might see a baseball field or a soccer field, but that's just what we call that grassy area where they play those sports. But it's always open, and you won't see trees or bushes in a field. Usually it's grass or something like that.
我们来看一下刚刚课文里提到的单字 humid 形容词潮湿的 The weather is very humid today. 今天的天气非常潮湿 field 名词田野农田 Many farmers grow rice in the field. 许多农夫在农田里种植稻米。文法的部分刚刚提到了 in a close group 紧紧靠在一起In a group 指的是成群结队 Close 是形容词，意思是紧密的、靠近的。我们来看看这个例句 The children gathered in a close group around the teacher. 孩子们围着老师紧紧站在一起。接着我们回到课文当中。
All right, guys, that's all the time we have. I think I'm going to go out and look for some cows lying down so I know that it will rain. I heard about this when I was young, and I remember driving by a farmer's field, and half of the cows were standing and half of the cows were lying down. And I thought, well, what does that mean? So there you go.
So it's going to rain on one side and not rain on the other side.
Exactly. Or maybe I should just come back in 20 minutes and see what happens. But we will be back tomorrow for sure. I can predict that and be 100% right. And we hope you can come back and join us even if the weather isn't so good. But look to the cows and sheep. Bye-bye. Animals use their senses to help them survive different kinds of weather. Some birds and butterflies fly south for the winter. They can see the decrease in daylight and feel the temperature drop. Some animals can even detect when danger and bad weather are in the air. When it comes to rain, cows and sheep have a sure sign. Before it rains, the air becomes humid. Cows and sheep can feel that. So cows lie down in the field, and sheep gather in a close group.
我们来复习一下这一课的重点单字跟文法。单字的部分 sense 名词感知 butterfly 名词蝴蝶 decrease 名词下降减低 humid 形容词潮湿的 field 名词田野农田。接着我们来看文法的部分 in the air 空气中 Love is in the air on Valentine's Day 情人节当天到处都充满爱的气息 When it comes to 加名词说到提及什么 When it comes to computers Bill knows a lot 说到电脑 Bill 所知甚多 In a close group 紧紧靠在一起My family walked in a close group so that nobody would get lost. 我们一家人紧跟着彼此，以确保不会有人走丢。以上就是这一课的重点单字跟文法。那我们下一次再见喽，拜拜。
One of my favorite things to do on a sunny day is have a picnic with my family and friends. Picnics are meals you have outdoors where everyone brings their own food to share and enjoy. If picnics sound like fun to you, then today's location could be worth a visit. Zhonghe No.4 Park. No.4 Park is close to Yong'an Market Station. It is the largest in Yonghe and Zhonghe. National Taiwan Library is also here. Visitors can enjoy musical performances in the park square. The park is a great place for people to go for a walk or have a picnic. In the dog park, owners can let their pets run about freely. On holidays, families can have fun at the playground and skating rink. Standing tall in one corner of the park is the 823 Memorial. Thus, the park is also known as the 823 Memorial Park. The historic park has become a center of fun activities for the locals. Zhonghe No.4 Park is the perfect place to go for people of all ages. With so much to do and see, I don't understand why we aren't there right now. Let's go!